Hi cuties. So now that I've finally wrapped up playing the Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater remake thing, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. On Twitter, Konami posted that Metal Gear Solid 3 has already surpassed 1 million copies sold, and it's just got me pondering. Surely they're gonna want to keep the ball rolling, right? I mean, 1 million this fast means it'll just keep on piling up and maybe even surpass the original's 3 or 4 million sale mark. The question mark that arises is which Metal Gear Solid game will they remake next? It's a question that has many different answers depending on who you ask, but today I want to go through the entire mainline base Metal Gear Solid games and talk about the likelihood of them being remade, and also discuss if they truly need a remake, you know? I am Jack the Ripper, I know everything about Metal Gear Solid, so let's talk about it. We can just get the honorable mentions out the way first. Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. These old ass MSX video games have never been imagined in 3D before, and I truly believe it's gonna stay that way. It'd be an interesting idea if Kojima were still at Konami to fully redo his first Metal Gear title, but it'd have to be essentially a brand new entry in the franchise with a super reimagined story to tie in the later titles. It would be sick as fuck to see the showdown of Solid Snake and Big Boss in crispy 4K visuals, but I just truly don't think it'll ever happen. It would also be the perfect way to tie up every major event in the entire franchise, but I truly just don't see it ever coming to fruition, and that's okay. A lot of people are theorizing that it may come next, but I don't know, y'all. Okay, now we can actually start with Metal Gear Solid. That's it. The PlayStation 1 masterpiece that technically already has a remake, but fuck it, let's just do it again, shall we? In my opinion, this is the game they should have remade first. If we're gonna get new players invested in the franchise, let's start with the actual first title. You know, who watches Star Wars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I guess some people do, but you know what I mean. I personally think that this game holds up incredibly well, and I love revisiting it constantly, even Twin Snakes, but if we were able to get a version in third person with updated visuals, I mean, I think I'd shit my pants, y'all. Let me just say too, I don't think any of the Metal Gear Solid games need a remake, by the way. This is my favorite gaming series ever, and I know in my heart of hearts that they are gaming masterpieces that will always hold up. The team at Konami who remade Metal Gear Solid 3 could simply replicate the art style of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and use it over here on the first title, but what would be interesting is the fact that they'd more than likely have to re-record all the dialogue too, unless they use the worst Twin Snakes version. The PlayStation 1 version's audio is too old and crunchy, and I don't know if they'd be able to just remaster it and call it a day. Would they have to recast a lot of voice actors? Probably, and it also caused an uproar in the fandom as well. Metal Gear Solid 1 is the greatest PlayStation 1 game ever made, so the remake would have to be absolutely stellar on all accounts to even come close to it. But if they kept all the plot points the same and simply made it play closer to Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, like what Twin Snakes was attempting to do, they'd have a fucking banger on their hands. If they remade it and kept the fixed camera angles but just allowed us to aim over the shoulder sometimes, that's the sweet spot right there. I'd be happy if they remade it to be damn near 1-to-1 just like they did the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, you know? I don't care how mad these new age Zoomer fans get. I think it'd be a home run. Hell, they revisited Shadow Moses in Metal Gear Solid 4, so I mean they could use that as a foundation, I don't know. The likelihood of this happening though is probably like a 7 out of 10 on the Certified Ripper ranking system in my opinion. If it's coming next, I don't know about that one. Konami has put out a statement saying that remaking the first video game would be way more challenging than 3, so at least there's official confirmation they've at least put thought to it, you know? I hate the sentiment that it'd be too hard. Like, come on, we're giving you $70, bitch. Give us what we want. Anyways, now let's just hop into Metal Gear Solid 2, which is tied for my favorite video game of all time alongside Resident Evil 4 and Metal Gear Solid 3. Man, oh man, what I would give to see myself, Jack the Ripper, in glorious 4K. Doing a Metal Gear Solid 2 remake after a 3 remake would be pretty fucking stupid though, I'd say. But as a fan, I would not complain. They did put out an HD collection back in the day and left out the first game and just kept it at 2 and 3. So I guess never say never, but I just don't see this being the next remake for them, even with it basically playing like the OG Snake Eater in a lot of ways. This is a game where the fixed camera angles play into its beauty, and I would hope and pray they'd keep the camera the exact same way in a remake. I know there's a third-person over-the-shoulder mod for the PC port of Metal Gear Solid 2, and honestly, it just feels cursed to me, even though it's cool. But yeah, as far as the likelihood of this goes, I'd give it like a 2 or 3 out of 10 on the Certified Ripper ranking scale. Just doesn't really make much sense in my mind. Like I said, maybe eventually, really far down the line, they can do it after making a 1 remake. Listen, I love Raiden, obviously, and think he really deserves his chance to shine again, but sadly, it's probably not coming next down the pipeline. After that would be Metal Gear Solid 3, which is already done. Good job. A safely made 1-to-1 remake that kept everything exactly the fucking same so people wouldn't bitch. And I still found a way to, so go watch my review and we'll talk about it. After that would be Metal Gear Solid 4. an incredibly interesting title. And I mean, if they did this after 3, it would jump from the beginning of it all to the end of it all. I don't know why, but that kind of sounds hilarious, but it would never fucking happen. Mark my words, if the next remake they do is Metal Gear Solid 4, I'ma blow my head smooth off. Watch it happen now. But not for real. This is never gonna happen. I think about this game sometimes and how it's just a perfect lightning in a bottle game. A great ending to an amazing saga of video games stuck on the PS3 with a damn iPod in it. Come on. Allegedly, this will be coming next in the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, and I will cry thug tears of joy, trust me. But as far as an actual remake, I don't think it's necessary in the slightest. The graphics hold up great, especially when you emulate this bitch on a PC, and I'm also the type of guy that believes all PlayStation 3 and 360 era games don't need remakes for the most part. Like, that's when we peaked as a gaming society in my eyes. It'd be hilarious to get new fans invested in 3's remake, then give them 4 and just spoil the whole saga, but the shit ain't happening. 0 out of 10 on the Ripper ranking scale. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. In my opinion, the best PlayStation portable game ever made that pushed the boundaries of handheld gaming at the time. A lot of fans seem to think that this might be the most likely for Konami to shit out next. The reason being, well, they put the sneaking suit in the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, but that could just be because it's iconic for Big Boss. But also, when they first announced that they were remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, Konami stated it was because it's the start of the entire Metal Gear timeline. If that's their thought process and a high reason of importance in their minds, then Peace Walker would be next in line. Listen, I love Peace Walker as a PSP game, but in my god honest correct Jack the Ripper opinion, it is the weakest mainline Metal Gear game besides like 5. Playing Peace Walker on PSP is out of this world, but you know, on a flat screen, in the HD remaster or whatever, the flaws start to show. There's not much mission variety, so many fucking loading screens. I mean, Konami has a lot to rework here if they decide to do it. If they kept Peace Walker exactly 1-to-1 as a handheld title, I'd be a little pissed, not gonna lie. That would be the time for them to really start implementing some of their own creative liberties. I mean, we haven't even talked about the cutscenes yet. Would they keep the comic strip style or completely reanimate them in 3D? I love the comic strips personally, but we all know that was made for the PSP and its limitations, so they would have no real reason to keep them in a 2020s era title. Another thing that would be super interesting is if they took the base building from 5 and sort of just slapped it into Peace Walker's remake. It was essentially a test for Metal Gear Solid 5 if you really think about it. They'd have to really spice up the level design too and not have loading screens after every 5 steps and increase the size of the maps, and I just don't know if they're up to the task after saying how hard a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake would be for them. Not to mention, are they going to keep the multiplayer, which was a gigantic aspect of this game, and the Monster Hunter collab, bitch? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of split 50-50 on this. On the one hand, it would make sense if they were just planning on going in chronological order, but getting a Peace Walker remake just kind of sounds and feels weird in my heart, you know? Like, it's the most niche mainline Metal Gear title. I just don't think it'll happen, but hey, make that whole play like Metal Gear Solid 5, and you got me. On the likelihood of this happening next, I'd keep it at a 5 out of 10. I mean, it could happen, but it also might just get skipped altogether. Next up is Metal Gear Solid 5, and come on, who really thinks this is gonna happen? I have seen people call for a graphical update for the game on PS5 and Series X, but dude, it looks fucking amazing already, shut the fuck up. If anything, Konami could go back and add some more missions to truly wrap things up, maybe add that teased Act 3, I don't know. But then again, you'd be fucking with Kojima's story, and if Konami starts dropping their own stories into Kojima's stories, that just feels icky to me, man. Eventually, the Metal Gear series has to continue without Kojima in a brand new title, but I don't think it should be in a Metal Gear Solid 5 repackaging. 0 out of 10 on the Ripper ranking scale. A bonus fun thing would be a Metal Gear Rising 2, y'all. I am Jack the Ripper, the greatest gamer ever made, and hey, they collabed with Platinum Games for the Guy Savage Nightmare mode in Metal Gear Solid 3, you never know. I do think this actually does have a high chance of coming out one day. Platinum needs a big hit, it's been a while since they dropped a certified banger, and MGR is a fan favorite that people constantly meme the hell out of, so why not let it continue? I love Raiden, and I think he's the greatest character ever, so let's give him a happy ending, shall we? But yeah, cuties, that's about where I stand in terms of the next Metal Gear remake. To me, what makes the most sense is Metal Gear Solid 1. Look at what they did with Silent Hill, you know? Start with 2 because it's the big heavy hitter, then work your way back to the first title. Genius. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below, though. Which Metal Gear game would you like to see next? Talk to me. That's really about it, though, y'all. Love ya. Bye.